All right, welcome into another edition of the 2023 MLB Draft Show. I am joined today by my co-host Brian Recca. He represents the Northeast for Prospects Live, but the star of the show, Rutgers outfielder Ryan Lasko, the pride of New Jersey, stayed in New Jersey the whole time. Ryan, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really excited to be doing this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we kick this thing off the same way every week. Ryan Lasko, who are you, man? Tell us a little bit about you on the field, your talents, your tools, and then a little bit about you off the field. How do you like to kill your spare time, hobbies, passions, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. So on the field, I'm a gritty, hard nosed, blue collar kind of player. You know, I'm a defense first kind of player. I feel like that's the best part of my game. Defense and base running. And then I kind of build off of there. My hitting's always been slow and developing, but we're getting there with that. And like the strides I've made. But then I off the field, it's kind of completely different. I'm more quiet and reserved, and kept to myself. Because on the field, I could be very fiery, intense. But then kind of like pretty much the opposite off the field. But I like to spend my time, watching football, watching baseball. Big sports guy. Just hanging out with my roommates and stuff like that. So I'm a pretty simple guy, to be honest.
Sounds like a pretty typical Northeast guy.
Yeah.
Brian, what you got, man?
So one thing I would want to talk to you about, Ryan, is your time over the summer on the Cape with Team USA. What that experience was like. I know, at the start you kind of had, some time you needed to transition, but towards the end you really started to hit with Brewster and started to show some things. So what was that transition like? What was that experience like?
Yeah, I went to the Cape, I think because the way our season ended, I don't know if that was a part of it, but I went in there maybe trying to do a little too much, kind of, prove myself, which I didn't really have to, because I found when I just be myself, I'm the best player, for myself personally. But the experience with Team USA and the Cape, that was all. I'm glad I got to do that. Those are kind of, once in a lifetime kind of experiences, and I really enjoyed every second of it. And I was just thankful to be a part of it, being selected to the USA and being able to do that whole tryout, not too many people get to say that. So, I was very thankful for that. And just the whole experience with the Cape. And I was glad I stayed the whole summer. I got a lot of experience, faced a lot of good arms and stuff like that. So I'm kind of happy, as much as up and down the summer kind of was, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I went through it.
Awesome.
I got to ask about your comment about the hit tool, the bat being slow starting. You hit 350 last year. I would like to know where you've been and how you've gotten to where you are now, because it may have taken some time to develop, but Ryan, you've turned into one of the better bats in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, like my freshman year, it was about being consistent, and I did a good job of being consistent last year. But, times when I tend to struggle is because of that consistency factor. So that's what I mean when it's slowly developing, because I don't have that maybe, down. But I don't know if anybody really has that down. But I'm trying to get to as close as consistent as I possibly can. And, I feel like once I get to that point, I'm going to be a really good hitter. And I feel like the work I'm doing this offseason, I feel kind of polished with the way I'm doing stuff, and I feel really close. And this is the best I've ever felt, I think, from an offensive standpoint. And I'm really glad with the work I've done so far, but still a long way to go. But I'm really happy with my strides.
Let me follow up on that really quick, Brian. When you say consistent, is it an approach? Is it the mechanics of your swing? Is it your preparation pregame? What part is that emphasis?
I think 9 times out of 10 it has to do with my mentality and my approach. Because I feel like sometimes, well, not sometimes, most of the time when I struggle, it has a lot to do with my mindset and trying to internalize stuff a little too much, being too hard on myself, and just taking the game as not as a game and a kid's game, and kind of making it more like a job and putting too much pressure on myself at times. And I think it's a good thing that I've realized that, because for the longest time I didn't realize that. But kind of understanding that part of it helps me slow the game down, and realizing that at the end of the day, it is a kid's game, and just being able to have fun and just kind of just take in what all the special opportunities that I have. I'm just kind of focusing on that stuff more than like, oh, I got to get a hit this at bat, or I got to do something here, because it's not what it's really about. But I've made great strides in that area, and I'm realizing it now, and it's going to hopefully, I feel like it's going to lead to a lot of success for me.
Cool. I have a question, follow up on that. So, like, talking a little bit about, remaining consistent and things like that. But when you feel that things are going well and you're in the zone, like what does that feel like for you? Like what are you noticing in the box, or or the rest of your games? Like how does that feel for you? Like what kind of things are you picking up on?
So it's really simple when I'm going well. I'm not thinking about anything. I feel like I could pride myself on that. And it's funny because when I do tend to struggle, you try to not think about anything, but at the same time, you're thinking like, oh, I'm struggling and blah, blah, blah. Like you're trying to find, that groove again. But when I'm going really well, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm kind of just, my mechanics are solid. Because when like I said before, when I struggle, like 9 times out of 10 has nothing to do with mechanics. It's all up here. So that's a lot of stuff that I've worked on, but it's just the game becomes really simple when you're going well, and I think everybody can say that. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the game, though. You're not always going to feel that simplicity in the box, and I think that's why I love this game so much, because it's not kind of straightforward. There's a lot that goes on in between our ears, and so I mean that's kind of the in-depth part of it that people tend not to understand a lot.
Let's talk a little bit more about the preparation side of things. This doesn't really apply once you get into the season, but do you like digging into the numbers, the exit velocity and launch angle? Is that a part of your game or a part of your development that you lean into?
I would say I look at exit velo. That's probably the only thing I really look at. But like I'm not one of those guys that's gonna be like, oh, is my launch angle at a certain degree or stuff like that. I don't really look into that. I just like to know how hard I'm hitting the ball, because if I'm hitting the ball hard, I mean, a lot of good things are gonna happen. So that's the only kind of metric I really look at.
Other side of it, really quickly. Do you train with tech? Is it your blast motion, hit tracks, K vests, you name it? Is it something you like to incorporate?
I don't incorporate it personally, but I'm not opposed to it. I know during the winter when we were playing inside, we'll use Rapsodo, and that's kind of where we get our numbers from. But I'm not live or die with it. But at the same time, I'm not, just strictly against it. It's just what I have access to, and if I have access to it, yeah, of course I'm going to use it. But I don't feel like it's a necessity for me to train.
Got it.
Gotcha. So one thing I wanted to bring up, last year we actually had your teammate Max Martin on the show, and bear with me, guys, because this is a Jersey question. So one thing he talked about was Steve Owens really selling him on the program, on Rutgers Baseball and New Jersey Baseball. Is that something you felt when you went through the recruiting process with Coach Owens and Rutgers? And have you felt that over the last few years that this is really a program on the rise?
100%. I think when Coach Owens, first got the job here, he talked to me over the summer, and he gave me kind of the rundown of how things were going to get done, and I kind of fell in love with his philosophy on things. So I was bought in from the beginning. He's a hard-nosed guy he's going to tell you how it is, and he doesn't beat around the bush, which I love about him. And he's been a great mentor and teacher to me, and he kind of, he's had me bought in from the beginning. And I think he told me about what we're going to do with this program and how we're going to get on the rise. And I'm just lucky to be a part of it. I've really kind of embraced, being from New Jersey, being, grew up in New Jersey, being born in New Brunswick, and always want to come to Rutgers. So, he sold me everything he had to, and I mean, I wasn't going anywhere else. I can tell you that regardless, but he kind of paved the path for us, and he's done a really great job.
You hear that a lot from New Jersey kids. I'm going to Rutgers. It's just a lot of guys up in the Northeast like to stay home, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ryan, what does this winter look like for you? What, bigger, stronger, faster, whippy, athletic? Kind of what's your emphasis in training?
Yeah, so for me this offseason, it's kind of reverse at what I'm used to. So the plan for me from the coaches and our trainers and stuff like that is kind of be in the weight room more than I'm swinging. And, I've seen a lot of growth in the weight room. I feel great. It's to get stronger, to get faster, and I really feel like I'm making strides in those areas. So yeah, I'm kind of used to being a big swing guy in the off season, but it's kind of different this year, and I kind of like it being less swing oriented and more in the weight room, more nutrition and stuff like that. And I've really enjoyed it so far, and I feel like it's gonna pay off in the long run.
What are you, if you don't mind me asking, what are you listed at now?
190. I sit between like 190, 192 right now. I'm trying to get a little like towards 195 ish. I would be ideal for me to start the season at, but either way, I feel great right now, and I still feel fast and I feel athletic.
Certainly more physical. I like to hear that, man.
Yeah.
So is there anything like, obviously up here in Northeast, not a whole lot of baseball going on. What are you spending your time with? Obviously I see in the background, you got the Giants banner up there. So I'm guessing there's a lot of Daniel Jones in your life these days. What else are you doing? Any other sports you focus on? Any other activities up there?
Yeah, I've been locked in with college basketball lately because Rutgers is playing well and they beat Purdue earlier in the week. So I follow a lot of college basketball and NBA basketball, and yeah, it's getting exciting because the NFL playoffs are coming up, so that's exciting. But yeah, I'm a sports oriented guy, and I enjoy watching. I like learning from stuff. I love all sports and stuff like that. But NBA, NFL, and MLB are my three sports I really like. But my free time, that's what it really consists of. I like to keep it simple. I'm not doing doing a lot of traveling. I stay close to home for most of the time, and most of the time I'm actually staying at my apartment at Rutgers, which I am right now, so I can just do my work when I need to. But it's kind of straightforward off the field for me.
Got it. All right. Well, how about this? We'll hit you with 4 rapid fire questions. Brian, do you have any more baseball questions for him, or should we move on to the rapid fire?
I got one more.
Yeah.
So one thing. Being in the Big Ten, facing some pretty good competition at Rutgers. Any like pitchers stood out either during the spring or during the summer that you felt was a good challenge for you or anything like that?
It's tough for me to say names, but there was definitely a handful of guys. There was a left-hander from, I think, Georgia. I forget his name, but I think Jaden Woods was his name or something like that. I just had a hard time picking the ball up out of his hand. It's not like he was a big, 97, 98 kind of guy, but he pounded the zone and he hit the ball really well. He had good off-speed stuff. So I think that's the toughest guy I had picking up all of last year.
Yeah, that's a good name. I mean, Woods definitely is soaring up boards right now. Let me hit you with a few rapid fire questions and we'll get you out of here, Ryan. First question, as it pertains to the next level, what sort of coaching are you looking for? Coach Owens is obviously going to give you more the hard-nosed, constructive criticism type of approach. Is that the coaching that you enjoy, or is there a type of coaching that, you look forward to maybe at the next level?
I really like a hardcore coach. I like someone who's going to get on you and just basically tell you how it is. I don't like coaches that kind of sugarcoat things, like to make you feel good, because I want to hear the truth. Because if you're not telling me the truth, it's not going to allow me to get better. So I really enjoy that part.
Okay, second question. You've probably wrapped up quite a few of your Zoom calls with area scouts and cross-checkers. What's the strangest question that you got?
It was actually on a questionnaire. I think the question was like if I kept peanut butter in the fridge or something like that. I heard a lot of people got that question and I was not expecting it, but that's number one for me.
I would love to know what the right answer to that question is. Is there, I mean,
personally, I don't put it in the fridge.
I don't either.
No, absolutely not.
Right. Okay.
But are we all sociopaths? Like
one or the other?
People that put it in the fridge sociopath? I don't know. Anyways. All right, Ryan, last question for you, man. We finish with this question every week. What's the one random fact that you know about anything? Random fact, it lives rent-free in your brain that not a lot of people know.
I know I have one. So it's impossible for pigs to look up at the sky. Impossible. Completely impossible.
Really?
Completely impossible.
Huh.
I guess I've never seen a pig look up.
I mean, I think that's what we're gonna do.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's maybe that's why they're so easy to hunt.
Uh-huh.
That's a good fact, Ryan. Ryan Lasko, outfielder, Rutgers University. Ryan, excited to see what this spring is going to look like for you. You've added weight, you've added muscle. It could be a big year for Rutgers.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for taking your time and having me on. It means a lot.